I can see clearly in my palette that my palette is the color of my earth. California has huge richness in its environment, and the colors of Hawaii are also pinks and greens, and everything grows there. It's it's an exciting, abundant mass of color and textures, and same with California. And I see this, I experience this regularly as I paint, and in my works, my works are my soul, a reflection of my growing up, the earth that I came from, something like that. Yeah, there was a clear distinction between the colors from California when I was living in India. In India, I could feel more of the heat and the dust in my paintings. There was a film. There was this hot film that went through what I would paint, and so. And the colors were also they were a different sort of richness and brightness that I associate with my experience in India. In Holland, I can't really say that Holland had a huge. Well, actually, now that I think about it, yes, it did. In Holland, it was very clear that the paintings that I had started with, and because I began with a lot of the Renaissance glazing techniques, and I was fascinated with the Dutch masters. Of course, I got into this Brunelli aspect of painting, all these tones of browns and how you could accent and highlight them with greens and cadmium oranges and all of these complementary aspects of painting. So this was yes, it did change. I did sort of take on a little bit of the reflection of the Haags painters, which was very brown and drab for a while. Yeah, I wasn't depressed. I was just in Holland, which I loved. I loved it terribly. I loved being in Holland. It was not depressing, but the colors were of a certain order and a certain time. And the colors as well reflect their landscape. It reflects what is it called? The Weide. I don't remember what this is called. It's like this reclaimed land, and you get this like low, bushy growth and a lot of little rivers and beaks and ponds, and it's a different kind of landscape there. It is very brown. It's brown with dark tints of kind of like muddy greens, and the light is different. The light in the sky is entirely different. So yeah, hugely. Switzerland, okay, Switzerland, that's a hard one to say because I have to say in the time that I've been here, I've hardly left my studio. It's okay, some people would say differently, but I love being in here a lot, and I have not seen all of the grandness and greatness of Switzerland yet. So I'm not really sure if it's, I know it's out there, and I've been to Santes in these places, and they're awesome, they're magnificent, and but I feel more here a sort of freedom. So I can see that in my, more so, not so much in my palette, but on my painting, that my paintings are actually going off of the canvases. They're moving off the canvas, and this is perhaps this endless feeling that I have here in Switzerland. I'm sure it's purely subconscious as far as reflecting on how colors have, or how landscapes and environments have influenced my palette or my paintings. When I reflect on that, then it's really, I can see that, but perhaps Switzerland's too close to me right now to actually really reflect. Sometimes you have to go somewhere else to reflect on what you're doing, or to take a distance to have that reflection. But I do feel a huge abundance here. And that abundance and that spatial abundance as well, I think that's apparent in my work. I think that's clear. I think I acclimatize very well, and I feel generally very good wherever I am. Now I feel best here. This is, I have a fantastic space where I can express myself and do the work that I've always dreamed of doing in whatever size I imagine, and this is also a giant freedom, and to feeling good has so much to do with actually just my own personal situation. That's, but it doesn't really have so much to do with the country that I'm living in. I think it's deeply personal, that feeling, whoa, good, feeling good. That's a very hard question, because it's like it's saying the unsayable. It's like what fascinates me with love. I can't describe that. I have this huge attraction for colors and textures in painting, and one of the thing that fascinates me with the process of painting is bringing this lifelike quality into my paintings through the colors. There's this tension and harmony at the same time that I'm trying to reach with just placement of color and where that is, and what do they do to each other? How do they correspond? How do they talk to each other? How can you create a gigantic conversation with these colors? And I think this is a huge part of my fascination, from my drive, my lust, my passion for what I'm doing, is this conversation. And I think this is also also again a personal story again, where this concept of dialogue and conversation is really important to me, and so I'm trying to have that happen, where the canvas is alive and it's moving, it's breathing, it's perhaps the colors are talking to each other. This is it's these possibilities that are exciting. They're entirely exciting. When I start with a painting, I generally don't have an idea. This is for the recent work I'm speaking about. So I don't know what I will be painting. So much about the painting for me is about the process of painting. So it is an intuitive process. I don't know, I'm not even certain generally of what colors I'll be using. This I also choose very intuitively. What do I feel like? What does it feel like today? And the applying of the paint is also very intuitive. I feel into what color belongs there, or what the painting is calling to me. It will tell me. The first stroke will tell me what the next stroke will be. And I didn't always paint this way, but however, through time I discovered this way of expressing myself had so much more to offer, not for me only as the painter, or in the fact that I'm so excited about process, or I'm so interested in process. And if I actually know what the result will be, half the joy is gone. I like the idea that something will come into an existence without me being able to direct it entirely in where it's going. And does that make any sense? Does that? But that's there too. There's also, sometimes when you have this feeling of inspiration, it's perhaps it's a morphic field. it's not generally, it's not necessarily only my inspiration coming from me. There's inspiration coming from outside to me. And I think we all have these kinds of feelings. And so this is what I really love about this kind of painting, because I am not directing it to a desired result and saying, this is my world and this is how you have to take it. But in one sense, it is my world, but it's our world, and I'm sharing it. And this is the aspect of this kind of painting that I love so much. And was that the answer to your question? Art is like it's like food. It's like sex. It's an essential part of my the basis of my life, and perhaps everyone's. The meaning. So you've noticed that my paintings are sometimes they are figurative and sometimes they're abstract. I paint everything that's part of my life. My paintings are a diary of all kinds of events, whether it be a feeling, an emotion, and then that can be interpreted in an abstract painting, probably easier for me, while then sometimes I'll have dreams where figures and shapes come into them, and then you'll see recognizable situations. I like to paint everything, and because I'm a painter, I think I'm allowed to paint whatever I want. And that the one constant is the brushstroke and my palette. And I think that is the constant that comes back in all the paintings, whether it be figurative or abstract. It's my brushstroke, which is my handschrift, my handwriting, and my palette, my colors. And that's the one constant, and for the rest, I want to paint everything that I feel inclined to paint. This is essential, is that they represent many aspects of my life. I sometimes paint dreams. I sometimes paint real situations. When I'm in a cafe, I paint feelings. I paint people I love, people that are near to me. Sometimes hopes. So it is a diary, and I can walk you through the paintings and tell you what part of my life that was and what that meant to me. And it's really interesting when other people see parallels in my work, and then we realize, aha, we share a common ground somewhere.